In today's video, I want to talk about something that I feel like is talked about not enough or incorrectly, and that is tone control and tone production on the saxophone. So if you want your tone to sound like this,
nice.
then we need to talk about two exercises. You guys, I gotta take a second before we start the video and thank everybody for joining the community and subscribing to the channel, because as of editing this video, I'm editing it in the middle of the night, we officially just hit 1,000 subscribers on the channel, which is crazy. It's great. I mean, I hope the channel will get to this point, but I didn't know if it would, you know? I didn't know if people were really interested in, you know, this kind of in-depth look at music theory or the way I would present it. But you guys are, and everybody that's joined, thank you so much for joining the community. I'm really stoked. And you know, 1,000 subscribers is a big step towards monetization. It's a big milestone. And the sooner we get monetized, the sooner I can make this my full-time gig, which is really what I want to do. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love performing, and I don't ever plan on quitting performing. I plan on continuing to play. But I've been a musician, I've been playing saxophone for 30 years, and I've been a full-time professional musician for 15. And I've done everything with music that I planned on doing and then some. You know, I've played professionally, I moved to a music city, I've toured, I've done a bunch of recordings. Like, now I want to share that knowledge with you guys. And it's great that I have this platform to do it, YouTube. So thank you so much for subscribing, and you know, the more you like videos and share videos, and most importantly, subscribe. If you're watching this right now and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. The sooner we can get monetized and do this all the time. So once again, I'm just really grateful. Thank you guys for helping me get to this point. And all right, let's get to the video. When it comes to saxophone tone and controlling the tone of your saxophone and having an excellent saxophone tone, I could talk for hours about how to do that. I could talk about tongue placement and articulation and airflow and how to manipulate your throat to control your tone. But at the end of the day, good tone control and production comes down to what you want to sound like or who you want to sound like and emulating that person. It's that simple. Let me give you an example. When I was in college, I went to a master class with Jim Morrison. Not this Jim Morrison, James Morrison, the Australian trumpet player. When I say trumpet, he's really a brass player. Every time I've seen him perform, and I've seen him perform live a handful of times, whether it's trumpet or trombone or sousaphone, anything that's a brass instrument that he plays perfectly. He's a virtuoso on all of them. He has the thing he does where he plays trumpet and trombone together, and he just uses a trigger on the trombone, and he'll play these ridiculous lines on trumpet, and then he'll do the same thing on trombone without moving the slide. He'll just do it with his embouchure control. So I went to a master class with Jim Morrison, and somebody asked this question. They said, how do you have such an excellent tone over these range of instruments? And he thought about it for a minute, and then he said, all right, everybody, and there was like 200 people in the room. He's like, I'm gonna make a sound, and I want you all to make it. And then he made a ridiculous sound. He went like, wee, or so he did some stupid sound like that. And he's like, all right, I made that sound, now you do it. And everybody in the audience, myself included, made the sound back to him. And he's like, it's that easy. He's like, I didn't tell you how to make the sound. I didn't tell you what I do with my tongue. I just made the sound, and then you made it back to me. And he's like, and that's how you have a perfect tone. You just emulate the people and the sounds that you want to sound like. It still requires some time on your instrument to get this kind of control without thinking about it. But there are two exercises that nobody talks about that I'm going to show you right now that gave me control over my tone and gave me the flexibility to emulate whoever I wanted to. And now I sound exactly how I want to sound all the time because I have control over my instrument. So I'm going to show you these two exercises. You can do them 10 minutes a day or less, and in a week you'll notice an improvement in your tone. So what are they? The first exercise is very simple. It's a dynamic control exercise. And I'll show you how to do it. It's very simple. So what you do is you pick a note that's very easy to play. For me, middle G on saxophone. Very stable note, very easy to play. You play it at a medium volume, a very comfortable volume, and then you get as quiet as possible while maintaining the pitch and maintaining whatever tone you currently have. Try to maintain it as best as you can. And you get as quiet as you can, like pianissimo, pianissimo, and then you bring it back up to your comfortable volume. And that's step one of this exercise. So it sounds like this. Well, you notice even though there was a lot of air going on, my pitch didn't change at all. And the timbre of the tone hardly changed at all. That's step one. You do that wherever you're comfortable, and you can chromatically, sometimes I'll play this and I'll chromatically work my way down to the next G. So an octave down, I'll go chromatically an octave. The second half of this exercise is you do it in reverse. You play that same note, whatever note you're comfortable on, at a comfortable volume, and then you get as loud as possible without the pitch changing and without your tone spreading. You don't want the tone to spread. And this has a tendency, you tend to go really flat when you try to get loud because you tend to open up. So it sounds like this. And I went until it started to spread a little bit, and then I brought it back. So you do that exercise, and you do the same thing, down the octave. And then you combine the two. You start at a medium volume, and you either get loud first and bring it back, and then get quiet and bring it back, or you do it the other way. You get quiet first and bring it back, and then get loud and bring it back. I'm gonna get quiet and bring it back, and then get loud. So that sounds like this. And it's okay to spread or have some air leakage. That's going to be totally normal. What you want to try to do is just keep working on it until your tone and your intonation stay solid even through dynamic changes. And it's that simple. You just do that exercise, and you don't have to do it down the octave. You can just pick whatever notes you're comfortable on at first, and then try to branch out to get to other notes. And some notes are going to be easier than others. And for me, getting quiet's hard. I've got a jazz piece on here with a huge tip opening. So trying to get quiet on this is difficult. Doing this on a classical piece like a C star or a minor 5, so fun because you can get so quiet and have such a clean, pure sound. So that's it. That's a dynamic exercise. It's an exercise nobody talks about, probably because it's so simple, but it has a profound effect on the control of your airflow and your sound and your tone production. So that's exercise 1. It's that easy. So the second exercise I feel like is slept on a lot as well in regards to altissimo. It works for altissimo as well. But this exercise had probably the single most impact on my control of tone and getting the kind of tone I wanted. And that exercise, of course, is harmonics.
Harmonics.
And if you don't know what harmonics are, long story short, Pythagoras back in the day, mathematician, Greek scholar, he realized that there is an overtone series for notes. And to keep it simple, it's an octave, a fifth, a fourth, a third. The further away you get from the fundamental, the closer they get together. But all we're going to do with is the first 3 harmonics. The octave, the fifth, and then the fourth, which brings you to your second octave. That's all you need for this exercise. You play these harmonics on B flat, B, and C. That's all it takes. And you can do these 2 exercises together, the first exercise and this one. You can do them for 10 minutes a day, and it will have a profound effect on your tone primarily, but your intonation, and then this one will also help you control altissimo. It's like a super slept on exercise in my opinion, but it does so much for your playing. So let me show you how I like to do this exercise. There's a bunch of ways you can do it, but this I find is the best way for tone control. So you play your fundamental. Let's start on B flat. So that's your fundamental. Now we're going to be playing an octave, a fifth, and the next octave. Those are the notes you're going to be aiming for. So the best way to do this is you play your fundamental, your B flat, and then you play the octave up regularly, how you would regularly, and then you hold down your fingering for your low B flat, so all your keys, and then you voice that next octave. So it sounds like this. It's your fundamental. Now normally, here's the next octave. Now I'm going to hold down everything. I'm going to finger the low B flat, and I'm going to play that note. So it took a second. You could hear the fundamental sneaking in, and then I smoothed out, and I had the note in good tone. This is going to be tough at first, working on this harmonic exercise, and it's going to be out of tune. Even having control over it, it's still out of tune. That's just the nature of the harmonics. So I wouldn't worry too much about intonation at first. I would just worry about getting that harmonic to speak. And once again, I could talk forever about how I'm controlling this with my throat and how I'm making things work. Long story short, it's in the back of your throat, and you just have to do it. Pitch matching is what this is. Really will help you with that. So I'm going to switch between the note played normally and then the harmonic fingering. that is a really effective way to really feel where it sits in your embouchure and to get comfortable playing it. So that was the first. Now that's the first harmonic. Second harmonic is the fifth. So once again, I'm going to play the fundamental, and then I'm going to play the fifth normally with normal fingering, and then I'm going to finger the fundamental and voice that fifth, and it should come right out. So you can see the pitch obviously was a little different, but the tones are similar, and the harmonic tone tends to be a lot fuller, a lot richer, because you're getting these other harmonics to speak. They're resonating even though you're not really hearing them. And once you get really good control over this, you can get multiple harmonics to speak at the same time, which is really fun. Sounds kind of crazy. You're going to really annoy your neighbors or family or roommates, but it's fun to do. So once again, you finger normally, you finger the fifth, and then you finger the harmonic and you voice the fifth. Now you do it with the next octave up. And this is the third one, and this is all you need. All you need are these three harmonics. And you can go a long ways with these harmonics. They basically just keep going. But all we're going to do is three. That's all you need for now. So that is the next octave. That's B flat up the octave. Now, same thing. I'm going to play the fundamental, and then I'm going to play that octave with the regular fingering, and then I'm going to finger the fundamental and voice that, and it should come right out. So you have it. That's how you do it. And you can pitch match that as well. You can see it sounds a little funny, and there's some of the harmonics, the fundamental speaking through there or coming through there, and that's fine. You're going to get that. But having this kind of control will improve your tone. It gives you so much control over what's happening inside your mouth, and primarily for this, inside your throat and like nasal passages. And once you get really good at it, you can just move between them. And like I said, it goes on forever. But this will help with tone immensely, and it'll help with altissimo, and it will help with pitch. So that's a great exercise. So these two exercises, dynamic control and harmonics, will give you control over your tone and help you emulate the players that you want to sound like. Like I wanted to sound like Dexter Gordon, and I started doing these exercises, and then was much easier to transcribe and emulate Dexter Gordon's tone. A couple of notes about doing these exercises. It's tempting to get in a room that is very bright, like a practice room that has nothing in it, and then you will hear yourself bouncing off all the walls, or to stand right in front of a wall, so you're playing and the wall is right in front of your bell, and it reflects the sound back at you, so you can really hear your tone. And that is good to do sometimes. You want to do that so you can hear your tone accurately and what you sound like. But I found, over years of playing in bright practice rooms, that it makes you push less air because you're so loud. You're hearing yourself so well, it doesn't take much effort to produce sound and have a decent tone. You want to get, like, I started practicing at home, so I would play in a bright room so I could hear what I was doing, and then I would go play like into my closet where all my clothes were hanging, because it just eats all the sound. And you have to work way harder to have a big bright sound, a big full tone. So be conscious of that. Like, you do want to play against a wall or play in a bright room so you can hear what your tone sounds like accurately, but then you also want to get in situations where you're outside in a large space that's going to eat the sound, or you're playing in a very dampened room with a bunch of sound paneling, or you're playing into a closet with all your clothes so that it eats your sound, so you have to work hard to produce a good sound. Or you're going to play really quiet and you're not going to have enough air support to produce a great tone, especially when you get in a live gig situation. So you have it. Those are my two exercises that I feel like nobody talks about that are excellent for controlling your tone and producing an excellent tone on saxophone. So try those out. It only takes 10 minutes a day or less, but if you do these exercises every day for a week or 2 weeks, you'll notice a change in your tone and a change in your control. And there's other exercises I combine these with when I was really working on my tone that I can talk about if you guys want to hear about them. Leave a comment if you want to know more exercises. But start with these, 10 minutes a day, that's all it takes, and it will improve your tone. Thanks for joining me today, you guys. And if you want to check out a more in-depth video about harmonics and how it can help your altissimo, you'll see this video here. I'll see you guys in the next one.